Super Soul Conversations is supported by Third Love. When it comes to bra shopping, it's all about finding the right fit for you. And there's only one lingerie brand that offers bras in sizes AA through G, Third Love. Third Love offers 60 sizes, including half-cup sizes. Never heard of half-cup sizes? Well, that's because no one else does it. Take their Fit Finder quiz from the comfort of your home to find your perfect size. Returns and exchanges are easy and free. Find your perfect fitting bra today. Go to thirdlove.com/supersoul and get 15% off your first purchase. That's thirdlove.com/supersoul, thirdlove.com/supersoul. Super Soul Conversations is supported by ZipRecruiter. Hiring? Every business needs great people and a better way to find them. And that's why ZipRecruiter revolutionized hiring. Their technology learns what you're looking for, identifies people with the right experience, and invites them to apply to your job. And now our listeners can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/supersoul. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
I'm Oprah Winfrey. Welcome to Super Soul Conversations, the podcast. I believe that one of the most valuable gifts you can give yourself is time. Taking time to be more fully present. Your journey to become more inspired and connected to the deeper world around us starts right now. Amy Schumer!
Hi. Oh my God. Hi.
It finally happened.
I promise you, I said this to my new husband the other day. I said out of nowhere, I didn't know this was happening. Out of nowhere, I just said to him, I know I'll meet Oprah. It's fine. I don't have to worry about it. I know I'll meet Oprah.
It's going to happen one
And
day.
then 2 days later, this happened. Yes.
That's the way life is.
Thanks for having me.
Do you like saying the words new husband? Do you like saying the word husband?
Yes.
You
I
do.
love saying it. I never thought I would say it. I never even aspired to have a husband. I'm still so used to calling him my bitch, you know? So it's just weird to now. No.
Yeah. But is it? Because I know that some women, when they first get married, they just love saying the word. They love,
Yeah, it's
and
so
the thought of
fun.
it is an interesting thought. So when you say my husband, what actually is the feeling that resonates inside?
It's like a calm. It's a peace.
Yeah.
Yeah. It feels really good.
It's a comfort, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
It's a total comfort. Yeah. I love him. You know? Like, I found the guy I wanted to partner up with. I never... Yeah, he's more than I would have.
So interesting the way you say I love him versus what he does or who he is in the world, what his label says he is, what his
Sure, yeah, no. And it's not just saying husband. It's like I picture him when I say that word, you know? It's it's like going into the business of life with somebody, and I have such a great partner.
And you were ready.
I was ready.
How did you know you were ready?
I just knew. It felt I'd never wanted to be married ever. I thought the concept of marriage was weird. Like, why do you want to involve the government in love, you know? But then I wanted to sign all available paperwork to commit to this man.
And when you knew that?
I was, my sister, she gave a toast at the wedding, and she said, she was crying. Her husband mostly read it, but she said, she carries you with her. It's a new calm in her. She's more dropped in and just happy and peaceful, and that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gail and I watched this film with one of my girls who's going to med school, one of my South African girls who's now in med school, and we were talking about how the term LOL has become such a rhetorical term. But when you watch this film, you really are doing it, and you're in the middle of doing it thinking, I'm having an LOL moment for real.
Right. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's few and far between now, right? Where,
where you really are.
Yeah, you can watch something and go, you more likely say like, oh, that's funny, but you don't laugh, you know? But I laugh.
The first time she goes to Soul Cycle, and the pants split in the chair, because I was that girl at Soul Cycle who couldn't figure out how to get the shoes, the click into the machine. And
it's like learning to drive a tractor trailer.
And everybody else there obviously has been there and looks like they've been breaking forever.
They're totally ready to rock.
And they can stand up and they can rock and the whole thing.
Yeah, I never caught up to that.
But the reason this movie resonated so deeply with me is because you were saying in your way the same thing I've been trying to say for years, is that you become what you believe.
Yes. I've heard you say that.
Yes,
yeah.
and you become what you believe.
Right.
And that if you switch the paradigm and you're willing to see things differently, things become different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which
I
is
completely
basically the concept behind I Feel
know.
Great.
And it's like the kind of thing where you can say it and you can feel like you found the right words.
Yep.
But this really felt like a story that exemplified it perfectly. Like it was like, here, look at this concept in practice. And that's why when I heard the premise of it, I just thought, oh, that's so great. That's a really great way to show this message.
Yes.
You know, it's not about other people's comments about you or their idea of you. It's all mental. It's all about how you feel and how you see yourself.
And that's why you can see some women on the beach and they're wearing their bikinis and they are 3 times the size that you are and they seem to be rocking it.
Yeah.
And I've seen those women and I'm like,
right.
How is she doing that?
Yeah. And you're like, she's sexy.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It's not about, it's not about the package that you've come in. It's about how you feel in it.
Yeah. Have you always, when I look at you, I think and feel, well, first of all, let me just say, you are the modern day warrior woman in that you have actually changed the way so many women perceive themselves and their lives. You have done that through your work, through your art, through yourself.
I will cry 90 seconds into this interview, so
no,
don't worry about that.
It is true. It is true. And I know you didn't set out to do that because I know how it works. I know that just being yourself was enough to bring the warrior to the world.
Damn it, Oprah. Yeah, well, right back at you.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't set out to do that at first. I just wanted to perform and make people laugh. And then I realized people are paying attention. You have this, not responsibility, but this opportunity to be a voice for women.
Yeah.
And I have done my best to rise to that. And I'm trying to catch up and learn in real time so that I can...
What the responsibility...
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right.
And people always talk about the responsibility and ask me to, you know, I've often been asked about, does it feel weighted? Is it heavy? No, because when you're just being yourself, it just is, right?
Yeah, there's no fear.
Right.
Because you really trust your intentions and your potential, which is sort of with this movie, that's what I want. And I think that's what all we both want for women is for them to get out of their own way and have the tools to live up to their full potential, not let anything hold them back, like how they feel they look or some flaw that they perceive in themselves.
When's the first time you actually said to yourself, I feel pretty?
Probably as a little girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, just as a toddler. I did feel pretty and great and really confident as a little girl. My parents just drilled it into my head that I was special, you know, and I bought it. And by the time I realized that I didn't, you know, look like somebody who would wind up in magazines that we have gotten used to, it was kind of too late. The brainwashing had already taken hold.
You already thought you were fantastic.
Yeah.
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 But then you had some shaky moments going to college, did you not? When you were
Yes. And as a child, you know, you start, like, bullying happens, but I still had I had the groundwork placed to be like, no, I think you're wrong. My mom said I'm gorgeous. But then I felt like in high school I really had an identity. I knew who I was, and people knew me.
Right.
And respected me, and I was proud of myself. And then you get dropped off in college, and all of a sudden no one knows you, and it's back to being completely judged by your appearance. I felt like my worth was only in my physicality. And it took me, you know, maybe a year or more to get back to remembering that that's not who I am, and to stop listening to other people. I needed to listen to myself, what I knew, and that I was proud of who I was as a friend and a sister and a student and everything else, and that's that's where my confidence really came from. But it was a constant battle. And then entering the business, you know, there have been moments where, yeah, just other people, you know, I feel great in my own skin, in my body. I have had to walk other people through my body. You have to like hold their hand and say, it's okay. It's okay. It's going to be okay. Let me explain to you. And they're like, so you just get up with that body and you brush your teeth? But did you always
feel great because you were able to portray this woman on screen in your stand-up that feels insecure, that feels like she's, you know, looking for answers, that feels... The woman you portray so beautifully reflects, I think, insecurities and sometimes lack of confidences that a lot of women feel. So they feel like you're like me.
Yeah, I think a lot of women have identified with how I was feeling, and I think it was a defense mechanism. A lot of my stand-up and a lot of myself.
That woman you're portraying, that's not really you.
No, it hadn't been in the past. When I started stand-up, I was doing a full character, pretty much. This real irreverent kind of dummy who said things and didn't realize why they would be funny. And then over the years, I've gotten closer and closer to just being myself on stage, and you know, realize I don't want people laughing at things for the wrong reasons. And now to the point where I understand if I'm being self-deprecating, that might actually hurt someone else's feelings. And so that's something I have taken responsibility for. And I'll still make a joke about something a troll said to me, or you know, that wound up making me feel empowered. But I've really laid off that because I realized it wasn't good for me or the people watching.
The self-deprecating humor.
Yeah.
So, you know, when you like somebody, and I've liked you so much from afar,
Thanks.
you always want to be like them. There's a part of you that says, oh, gee, I want to. And so when I was reading Girl with the lower back tattoo, I was so thrilled to realize, you know how you and I are most alike?
Let me guess. You're an introvert.
I'm an introvert!
I knew it.
You knew it?
Yes, because I would guess that about you. Because
really?
You're
the only person I've ever said that to that they don't say, oh, you're not.
Really?
Yeah,
oh, no.
But the way you described it in the book, I'm like, that is so me.
Yeah.
I've been at parties where I have to get up and leave.
Take a break.
I'm just in the bathroom.
Recharge. Yeah.
Recharge.
I love the bathroom.
Love it.
Love to hide in the bathroom.
Love to hide in the bathroom.
Yeah, people are confused about, you know, but how could you get up in front of so many people every day and say that it's different. And I think when you're so giving of yourself and your mind and everything, you need to take a break. You can't.
Because you're giving.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting because Gail, who I know you just interviewed with you.
I love her.
Is the best friend ever. But she is a true extrovert.
Yeah, is she?
True extrovert in that she gets energy from people. She
feeds off it.
She feeds
and
off
we
it.
get sucked dry.
And I get sucked dry.
Yeah, you need to be taken out of a party in a stretcher.
Yes.
I know.
We will leave the same party and she'll say, oh my God, that was so much fun. And I'm like, oh, no,
I need to be quiet. Can we just put music on and be quiet?
Yes.
I need like long silences
and what I loved about the way you described it in the book is that you used to apologize for it or think you were weird.
Something was wrong with me.
Yeah, I did too. I used to think, well, what's wrong with me?
Right.
I should be so. And because you're on TV every day, and people have this expectation.
Sure.
Literally in the airport, someone said to me once, "You're not acting like you do on TV." I was just
sitting
sitting there.
TV, Mama.
Woman comes up to me and says,
I know.
You're not acting like you do on TV.
And that's tough. That's you know, people have an expectation of what it would be like to meet you, or what they would say, and because I'm aware of that, you know, if I saw you at a party, I think, were you at Ellen's party?
Yes, I was at Ellen's party.
Yeah, so I purposely didn't seek you out because it's just too much. It takes so much from someone, and I'm so aware of what it's like to be an introvert that I wouldn't want to do that to anyone. So there's really great interactions that I can have. So you know what my favorite thing is, walking around Central Park or something? People who just smile or wave. That's the best.
That's the best.
And I can deal with the quick, I love you, or keep going.
Yeah.
And then anything else, it's me trying to do a good job for them, you know, and I feel like I disappoint people all day.
Well, you also write about, in Girl with a Lower Back Tattoo, you write about this thing of women always having to exert this emotional energy, being the ones to make everything okay.
Trying to be likable. And
yes.
Another
Another reporter was interviewing you once and asked this question about emotional labor. Are you the one who has to do all the emotional labor in the relation? Which is true. And then you wrote about it.
Yeah, I think people don't understand like I have the hardest time in the world with small talk. I can't do it, especially when are you like that? Right. Especially when you're traveling so much.
It tires me.
I can't do it. They say, "How was the flight?" And I'm like, "It went up, came down." Yeah, the weather. I'm here for 12 hours. It's just, and they're just having a nice interaction. People do it all day, and some people really love it, and I don't have the capacity for it. I'd rather somebody say, "I'm getting a divorce." I'd say, "Oh, tell me about it."
Yes.
Right? I can get into it, but I can't. Yeah, but I just.
So what's your favorite introverted thing to do?
Oh, a long walk, like a dangerously long walk, and music and not talking to anybody, or reading, or I meditate. I do TM.
Isn't meditation? Isn't it?
It's a life changer.
I know. How long have you been doing it?
Especially for an introvert. 6 years.
Yeah.
I started doing it, and especially if you're on a set or something, it's like getting a great night of sleep in the middle of the day. And then, because, you go back to work, and it's not just doing your work, it's also saying hi to everyone on set, asking the cameraman how his daughter's soccer tournament went, and, really showing up for people, because if it's your set, if it's your place of work, you obviously set the tone for how everyone's going to treat each other. So
Absolutely.
You can't be in a bad mood. And then that takes away the right from anyone else to come and be crabby.
Right. So what has it done for you, do you think? Meditation?
Given me great ideas. I've had amazing realizations, and just given me energy, made me healthier. Yeah. It's one of the most life-enhancing things I ever did. Yeah.
Was to learn how to meditate.
Right.
Yeah.
For people like us, I think it's the greatest gift we could get.
Yeah. And the ultimate in going in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
More of our Super Soul conversation after this.
Super Soul Conversations is supported by Poopery. Let's be honest, number 2 happens, and it stinks. We've all had to go at some point or another, at work, on a date, or at a dinner party. Now imagine going and actually leaving the toilet smelling better than you found it. With Poopery, all you'll leave behind is a refreshing blend of natural essential oils. Poopery works, and yes, it really does work, by creating a film on the water's surface before you go and trapping odor underneath. 10 years ago, entrepreneur Susie Batiz invented Poopery in her kitchen. Today, she sold over 40 million bottles and received more than 15,000 5-star reviews. Try Poopery best smellers like original citrus, lavender, vanilla, tropical hibiscus, or new lavender peppermint. Oprah's Super Soul Conversations listeners get 20% off with code SUPERSOUL on Poopery.com. That's 20% off with code SUPERSOUL on POOPOURRI.com. Poopery. Spritz the bowl before you go, and no one else will ever know.
So, when you decided you were going to do I Feel Pretty, you were intentionally trying to do what? Aside from creating this entertaining film that we're laughing out loud to.
Thank you. I was trying to send this message to everyone, but really to young women. This concept that I had, that became fact to me of where I get my confidence and how to live up to my full potential. It's just a gift that I wanted to give to everyone, and especially young women. We had a screening the other night for just teenage girls, and it was really emotional. It was one of the best nights of my life. I mean, they loved the movie. They were having fun and dancing and laughing, but moments going no, or or cheering. But then at the end, when I give that speech, where I realized it was me, they were real quiet, and then they were wiping tears, and then just talking to them after the movie. I felt like it really affected them, and I think maybe this movie might accomplish what I wanted it to.
Is to get women to see themselves differently, especially
to
young
empower
girls.
them.
To empower them.
Yeah. Because if you're worried about how you look or you're pulling at something and you can't get out of your own way, you can't just think about your brain and speak up and share your ideas, because we've gotten so accustomed to trying to be everything to everyone as women, being likable, being a good host, trying to look perfect. And also we're afraid of insults. So many women don't speak up if somebody wrongs them just for fear of somebody saying something mean about you.
Absolutely, but you're different.
I am different.
You're different.
I look at that as an opportunity.
You look at the trolls as a way to inspire you, right?
Yeah. I couldn't feel a mean internet comment now if I wanted to. I think I've gotten so desensitized to it over the years. And then it just, I feel such sympathy for the people who feel motivated to go. I mean, I don't even know anyone that would write a mean comment on a stranger's Instagram or whatever.
Right.
If I found out one of my friends wrote something mean on a Kardashian's social media, I'd be like, you're out of my phone. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
What is wrong with you?
But it used to trigger you, right?
It used to hurt my feelings when I was, this is literally 10 years ago. I did that show Last Comic Standing, and I'd get compliments, and then I would just get the most hateful, vile, just cruel, and I would think, oh, and you almost accept it as fact, like, oh, okay, I'm ugly. Wait, this says I'm beautiful. Oh, I'm, the most disgusting woman alive. And then after a while, you're like, oh, they're both right.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with that. And then not just trolls, it's. I think the worst is when people say something to you and they don't know they're insulting you. They think they're saying something to you like you knew it already. Being like, they'll be like, how you have like a really chubby face, and I'm like, and you have to be like, yeah, I know. And then you're like, okay, now that's a new fact. Like, people hand you new insecurities about yourself.
But you're one of those people, you're a real woman. And Maya Angelou used to say to me, you can always tell the difference between a real woman and just an aging female.
Oh God.
So
thank you for her. I mean,
yes.
I read her in school, but your relationship with her
yes.
really changed my life. And her Phenomenal Woman poem, I listened to her read it a lot in prep for this movie and during filming. So that's everything to me.
Well, you're a real woman, and you were able to take the negative comments, the trolls, all the things that you just mentioned that people have said, and you turned it into something beautiful, because when you posted the Annie Leibovitz nude photo, didn't you say that? Beautiful and sexy and ugly and and all of that? Yeah.
Right, yeah. I listed a whole bunch of words just because the comments are going to come. And yeah, that was me commenting on people's experience of my body, of how I look. It was so interesting. And some people were like, she shouldn't have posted that. It's disgusting. Yeah. And then I think it was a high school girl. I think she had just been on a trip where she saw the actual sculpture of Aphrodite, and she photoshopped it. She put it next to mine, and we had the same body. And it was like, that was so interesting to me. It was like,
isn't it interesting? What you just said, I just heard it in a way I hadn't before. When you just said people commenting on my body, the fact that we live in a world where people think they have the right to comment on someone else's body.
It's really all about themselves. And this trailer of this movie coming out, there was this backlash, and people were really upset about it, and they projected so much of their own. Of themselves onto it. Like, some people said, why did she have to see herself as skinny to feel beautiful? And I said, you never see what I saw. That's what you think I saw. I know what I saw. But people have so much emotion about this topic because we've all had so many battles with ourselves about it,
And are conflicted ourselves about it.
Yeah.
Or think that whatever decision you've arrived at for yourself, everyone else should have the same opinion or
they
same
think
decision.
They're right, and you're like, I'm right.
Yes.
What my experience matters.
That is so interesting, because when we never know what she sees.
No.
We're looking at the same person.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. And I know what I saw, you know, and to be honest with you, I was looking at myself. I didn't picture someone else. I looked at the image that was in front of me, and I let myself love this package I come in. I was feeling grateful for my legs and my strong arms and, you know, this healthy body. And I'm looking at myself, and I let myself just fall in love.
Yeah. I had one of those moments a couple of years ago. I was standing in the mirror, and I was just like, you know, all these years struggling, pushing against it. And then I just thought about my heart beating all those years, every single moment, never giving up. My legs remaining strong, my feet being able to walk on my arms. You can raise your arm. I mean, it's like falling in love with yourself.
That's it.
Yeah.
My dad has MS. He's in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
You know, who am I to be upset that I don't look the way that society has conditioned me to feel is right? Mm-hmm. I'm grateful, but yeah, there have been times I've tried to lose weight, I tried to whatever, and I just realized, what if I just love myself today, right now, how I am? I don't want to be striving for this other version.
Yeah. I really just reached a point, are you here too, where you just want to make yourself the healthiest you can be?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to nourish my body.
I want to nourish
and my mind.
Yeah, and my mind. And my spirit too.
Yeah.
Working
more
on
than
all
anything.
of that. That's what the meditation's about.
Mm-hmm.
So you have been empowering women with your film and your stand-up long before I Feel Pretty. Was that a conscious move?
Not at first, but then once I realized, I thought, even when with stand-up, before I filmed my first hour special, which was called Mostly Sex Stuff, excuse me, I can't believe I'm burping in front of Oprah, but I know it's okay.
It's perfectly fine.
I thought I don't remember hearing women talk about sex very much. I couldn't think of a stand-up comic. I couldn't think of that had really talked about it at length. And I had, you know, all the artwork that I've seen, Eve Ensler's vagina monologues, where I realized, oh, a lot of women, they go to their graves without ever having an orgasm because they felt ashamed or like they didn't deserve it, or were self-conscious. And I just thought, if there's a way that I can help women enjoy their lives more and feel more empowered and be able to enjoy sex and realize that they have a right to an orgasm too, so before my first hour special, that's when I thought, I want to do my part and be this. I'll be this thing. I don't feel, you know, I don't think about sex more than other people. I don't have sex more than other people. But that was the first sort of gateway I saw that this is the thing I'll be right now. And I know I'm constantly evolving and you know, and just changing who I am as a comic and as an artist and a woman. But that was the first time I thought about that consciously.
And do you think that standing on stage talking about it, very different than putting it in a film, there's something about the storytelling and the visuals that give people an opportunity to that makes it even more okay?
Yeah. I mean, artwork, these films and TV shows and songs, this is what shapes us, I think. This is what, you know, I can read an article and learn, but really it's these pieces you can watch and take the messages from it.
But you have done more than that. You have given us permission to even talk about where our poop comes out.
And you're welcome. I am doing God's work.
So nothing's taboo, really, in terms of being able to talk about things that human beings experience.
I don't think so. It's like, yeah, we're human beings.
Yes.
I don't see any value in the shame we've been conditioned to feel about these things that we were born with, being plagued with. You know, I have a joke right now where I talk about, and it's true, like I don't like to buy tampons because you can kind of always get one, like somebody will hook you up with one. But the way we ask for them, I say, you don't even have to say the words. You can just go, does anyone have Like, you know, like
Yeah.
and we whisper it, like,
Yes.
like I didn't ask to be born with ovaries and to shed my uteral lining once a month, you know, but it's, and then people go, oh, don't talk about, you know, and it's like, well, I don't think we should be at the dinner table, like, showing pictures of our poop, but I don't want to be made to feel bad that I'm a human being.
Right. Who poops?
Who poops?
And if you don't, you're
I'm
going to be in
sorry,
big...
you got, right.
Yeah, you're going to be in big trouble.
You got to take care of that and quick.
Yeah. So being able to that wasn't a conscious decision, but when did you realize you were there, that you'd reached a point where you'd hit the zeitgeist at the right moment in time, where you could be heard, your particular brand of authenticity and just being you could be received?
Maybe right this second.
Really?
Well, I have to say this is like probably the greatest moment so far. And I'm feeling every single moment and trying to appreciate it and be present. That was just a selfish little moment I took for myself, so I'd like to apologize.
Fully here.
I think after the first season of my TV show came out, that was the reaction to it. There was such a demand to be getting this perspective in a way I didn't realize. We didn't know we were doing something that felt revolutionary to the people who were paying attention. And then a writer described our show as putting shaved carrots into brownies. You know, like, people don't want to feel like they're learning.
Right.
But to say, you know, here, eat this, and then you walk out being nourished.
Which is why all those young girls watching I Feel Pretty, I Know, came out, you know, with more than just LOL moments. They came out with, you know, you really walk out of that film and you feel what the definition of what the embodiment of empowerment is. You feel good about you.
Yeah.
And I think that's what, I mean, you just can't do better than that as an artist.
Thank you.
You walk
That's
out
all
and you
I
feel good
want.
about you.
Yeah.
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 I
And
just,
less judgmental about other people.
right.
And if you can do that in a film and make people laugh, come
on.
on, Amy Schumer.
What do you want, Oprah?
My gosh, really, I really felt that. I thought, wow, this is more than just a film. We talked about it a lot afterwards. It's like so meaningful.
Thank you.
And all my girls are going to go to see it. So this Me Too movement that we're in.
Let's get into it.
Let's get into it. Come on.
Hashtag us too.
Oh,
Yeah.
you know, what struck me in Girl with the Lower Back Tattoo, you're telling the story about is that where I saw it? Yeah, about it was sort of graped and not.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, so in my stand-up, I used to talk about, I called it gray area rape, which is, you know, it was a way of bringing this up in my stand-up, shaved carrots, trying to make people laugh while they learned. And it was really me saying, you know, when we hear about rape when we're children, and we're being warned about it, it's about a guy popping out from a bush while you're in the park.
Dragging you into the bush,
right.
yes.
And some villain, they don't say, it's probably going to be a guy you know really well. It could be your husband. It could be your friend. And so you think when that happens to you, you say, okay, well, this isn't someone I want to see rotting in a jail cell, but what he did to me was wrong, and I didn't consent. And for me, I lost my virginity while I was asleep, and that's not okay. So in my stand-up, I would say, if she's asleep, that's a no. Just hoping that a couple of guys would see that and it be met in that moment and say, oh, no, this is a no. I heard it somewhere.
Not only you lost your virginity when you were asleep, but you're on the sofa, on the bed, wherever you all were, and you wake up and he's penetrated you.
Yeah.
And then you don't feel okay about that. He obviously doesn't feel okay about that.
The first thing he said was, I thought you knew. I didn't say anything yet.
Yeah.
He said, I thought you knew.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, what's interesting about that is that you then were feeling bad for how he would feel the next day.
Yeah, he was my boyfriend.
Yeah.
I loved him. I had to comfort him. I also felt really angry, which was something it was just a feeling I had. I felt really angry at him. And it's like a rage that has stayed with me. I don't think you lose that. And, you know, as women, we're really trained not to get angry because that makes people dismiss you right away. There's sort of no place for that anger. But I felt I wanted to comfort him because he felt so bad and he was so worried, and just tried to push my anger down.
And then you did have sex with him.
Yeah. Then eventually, yeah. I mean, we were together.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was, you know, and people hear a woman say that she was sexually assaulted. And it's, I think 9 times out of 10, people's first reaction is to doubt the woman. It's just something that men and women do. We think, well, wait, what happened?
Yeah.
We're going to decide if you consented. And with the statistics of, I think it's 1 in 6 women is sexually assaulted, well, those statistics don't match up. If 1 in 6 of us is raped and you're doubting all of us, where are the numbers matching up here, you know?
Would you define it differently now?
What happened to me?
Yes. Would you define it as rape and not grape?
You know, there is the desire to label things so we can store it somewhere and put it away. You know, what was that? But I personally, I feel like I lost my virginity through rape. I didn't consent. We hadn't discussed it. We weren't there in our relationship. We weren't at that moment. And we talked about things, you know, we were open with each other. So it felt
like also deep betrayal.
Yeah.
Deep betrayal.
From someone who I really trusted. Yeah.
When I was reading that, I was like, that is rape. That's why I wanted to know if you think differently about it now.
Yeah. I also have the fear of saying that because then it's, you know, this part of our interview will be, you know, it'll be a thing and then it'll be discussed and debated and people will be angry. People get angry when you share your story. And that's why the Me Too movement is so important because it's a whole group of us saying not only are we not angry, we're grateful that you were brave enough. And this new generation, I mean, I'm so grateful to them and what we're learning from them.
But what you just said earlier, Amy, is really of great value. And I remember in the early days of the Oprah show, the very first time we did a woman who said she was raped by her husband, other women in the audience said, that's impossible. So that's in the 90s. In the 90s when we're saying, it's impossible to be raped by your husband.
Right.
Because you belong to your husband.
Yeah. Like you give forever consent.
That's right. And so you're just being there, you're being married means you're, so I had a terrible incident at my school when my school first opened in South Africa where girls were molested at my school.
I'm so sorry.
And it was 2 years after that molestation had taken place that one of the girls was in bed in the dorm and had literally lost her voice. And I said, you've lost your voice because you won't speak, you refuse to speak, And she said that it wasn't until someone had come to the school talking about how to do self-defense and self-protection for women that she didn't have the language for what had happened to her. She said, I didn't know what that was. I didn't have the words. And it wasn't until I saw the tape that I now realized I was raped. So what you just said and what I've experienced with, you know, some of my girls is we didn't have the language for it.
Right.
You think that if you are, you know, at his apartment or you agreed to the date or you said okay to dinner, that it means you have the right to do whatever.
Well, you know, first of all, I loved your piece on 60 Minutes last week, and thank you for that. And that was the most heartbreaking thing. But another heartbreaking moment was in the Stormy Daniels interview when she said, when she described going to the hotel room and kind of feeling like she had to have sex with him. She talked about and whoever it was, it doesn't even matter that it was him. She said, "Oh, what have I gotten myself into?" That feeling of, well, I went home with him, and I see what he wants, and she just felt like she didn't have another choice.
Right.
And I understand that feeling. I had put myself in that position there. I can think of a couple of men that I slept with where I realized I didn't want to, but just kind of felt like it'll be too hard to get out of here without. I didn't think that they would rape me or assault me. I felt like by being there, I had signed some sort of contract.
Ask for it, that you'd ask for it in
But
some way.
what I learned, I think I was like 19 or 20, was that it is never too late to say no. And we should all do our best not to put ourselves in situations. We shouldn't go back to someone's hotel room. We should do our best not to physically be somewhere where we're sending those messages. But if you have done that, if you've made the mistake, if you've gone home and you realize you don't want to sleep with them, you're allowed to leave, and you won't regret leaving like you will regret sleeping with someone you don't want to. You don't need to power through sex with someone. You can always leave, and you always have the right and the option, and kind of the responsibility. I think something with this movement that's changed me is that it's not just good for us to call out these moments and tell someone that made me uncomfortable or that's not okay. It's about doing the right thing for the woman who comes after you.
Right.
I think we forget about that woman.
Right.
So if someone's hurting you, it's not just good for you to stop that behavior. It's good for everyone who will come after you. And so if a doctor does something that makes you uncomfortable, or someone in an elevator, or your husband or anyone, you have to tell them it's not okay for other women.
And that's really what this moment, the Time's Up moment, is really all about. It's about, first of all, I think first and foremost is for women to get that for ourselves.
Yeah.
Don't you think so?
Absolutely.
And then to be able to message it in such a way that other people, men in particular, understand. Because I can understand where men are confused.
Absolutely.
Don't you understand why they're confused?
I totally get it. And it's a lot of change at once.
Yep.
And so while this isn't a time to be sympathizing with men, it's not about them.
Yeah.
I think it's most productive for us to hold their hands and say, this is how you help us. What you've done, I want to just say, let's just go from here. Okay? And that doesn't mean you're not responsible for what you've done in the past, but let's all just start over, and it's up to us to teach them what's okay, because for so long it's been okay, and the girl at the office would flirt back with you, and it was okay. You'd make a comment about her body or outfit, and and now it's like,
now
hey,
it's not.
I'm actually not comfortable with that.
Not comfortable with that. This Super Soul conversation continues in just a moment.
Support for this Super Soul conversation comes from Weebly, whose mission is to help people turn their ideas into successful businesses. Last year, more than a quarter of Americans said they would start a business if they could. Weebly loves this creative momentum and is set out to make it easier for dreamers and entrepreneurs to share their stories and get their products in the hands of customers who will love them. Yes, Weebly lets you get a domain and easily build a great-looking site. But more importantly, it has powerful tools to help you grow your brand, process payments, manage inventory, send marketing campaigns, and get discovered online, all from one dashboard that's simple to use. They've also got an incredible customer success team, which means you can pick up the phone and get guidance from Weebly experts. No robots, no scripts. So whether you're just looking to share your products with your community or create a booming creative empire, Weebly is here to help you build the business of your dreams. Remember, all of Oprah's favorite things were created by someone with just an idea. So get out there and share yours. And as an Oprah fan, you can visit Weebly.com/supersoul to get 15% off your first purchase. Weebly, more than just a beautiful website.
So a lot of the people who've been accused, or some of the people who've been accused, are comedians. One,
Sure.
Your former friend. How challenging or difficult is it when it's somebody you know who's been put in the spotlight like?
I don't feel challenged as a friend. I feel for the women who, whether or not it was the men's intention, it's what the women experienced, and
Right.
so I just feel for them, and I put myself in their shoes. I think what I would have felt like, and I'm someone who's strong and speaks up, and I've still had these moments, and you know, more than I'm proud of, but ones that I wouldn't have now, and this movement, Time's Up and Me Too, it's really changed me and my behavior with what I am and am not willing to deal with, and in terms of it being some of my friends, yeah, it's hard when it's your friend, you know, but I don't know.
Was Lucy K a mentor? Was it? Yeah.
Yeah. Louis is my friend, a mentor. Aziz is my friend. And, you know, there are plenty of guys that I'm close with who have done things that I don't think they should be very proud of. And, yeah, you just hope that they learn and grow from it, and that it's so much bigger than them. You know, this moment and these incidents are really to change the whole population. And so while it feels really personal to them, it is, but really it's not. It's about everybody and everyone's behavior. So if they have to go through this, you know, to correct their own behavior or to change the future, then
that means that's where we are.
That's what we're doing.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
That's how we evolve.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the proudest moments I had while reading your book was because I'd done so many stories about women who were in relationships where they were battered, and they would say, I remember, you know, interviewing some famous ones who said, oh, but he just shakes me. He just pushes. And you went through that and finally got to the point, too, where you realized this is really abuse.
Yeah. I got hurt by accident a lot.
Yeah.
It was that.
Oh.
It was, he didn't realize how hard he grabbed me or shook me or pushed me.
Yeah.
And I would fall and hit something, and then I'd be hurt. And it would be like, well, he didn't mean for me to hit that thing. He just thought he was pushing me.
That happened to me in my 20s, where he'd slam the door on my hand, or I'd accidentally and then one day I fell, and I fell in front of the mirror in the hallway, and I saw myself, and I started to cry for this woman that I had allowed myself.
You were out of your body.
I'm out of my body.
I bet
Does
you
that
can
ever happen
picture
to you?
that moment right now.
Yes, I can.
I can picture being thrown on the hood of a car like it was an hour ago. Yeah, and running from him, carrying my shoes and running from him, running into backyards trying to get away from him because I was afraid for my life. Yeah, it's so out of body. You're like, I'm not this woman. Who's this woman?
Yeah.
Why am I in this woman's body who's running from her boyfriend? This can't be me. And, yeah.
And you always want to tell yourself that it's something else. Because when I grew up, I'd seen my cousin Alice being beaten by her boyfriend who beat her regularly, and I was always, I will never be that woman. And I held myself superior to that.
I'm not that kind of woman.
Not that kind of woman.
Yeah, and then you realize that there is no kind of woman.
There is no kind of woman.
It happens to all women.
Yes.
It's not, you know, who we picture. I think I had a really distinct picture of what I thought an abused woman looked like. It would probably be someone like, you know, in the movie 8 Mile, like Eminem's mom.
Right.
And really, it's CEOs, and it's powerful, brilliant women. And
but don't you think the abuse comes in all forms?
Yeah.
It comes in every form that doesn't allow you to be who you were meant to be.
Yeah.
I believe, anytime you are suppressing any of yourself to try to put on the face, wear the mask for the way a man or a group of people wants you to be, then that's abusive to you.
Right, and that's exactly right. I never thought of it that way, but it's them breaking you down because they're afraid of losing you.
Yeah,
and it's about themselves,
Yes.
you know. But he really had convinced me that I wasn't lovable, and he was the only person that could ever possibly love me. So I better work it out with him. I'm so lucky to be with him.
Right.
And then again, I would feel bad for him after he hurt me, knowing how bad he would feel. You don't choose to fall in love with someone who hurts you. And you can be in love with someone who hurts you.
But the lesson is, love doesn't hurt.
Yeah,
like
it's not
that.
supposed to.
No, it's not supposed to hurt.
It can't.
Yeah.
And those people go on to
hurt other people.
hurt other people. And also, if you stay with them, statistically, there's a good chance that they're going to hurt you so bad that, you know, and for a lot of women, kill you.
Yes. But yes, when I was reading about that, your story, I thought that guy went on to hurt other women.
I know.
That guy is not going to.
I know.
What you described. So it makes it so much better when you find someone that just being able to say the word husband.
Husband. Yeah.
Brings a smile to your face. What's
Yeah.
the lesson that took you the longest to learn?
Well, I think one of the lessons that was about my abusive ex, it was, it hit me like a ton of bricks one day. Oh, I'm not this awful, ugly, stupid person he's trying to make me feel like I am. He's saying that because he's afraid of losing me. It just occurred to me one day. And it was like, light bulbs. And then I couldn't unsee it. And everything he said from then on just bounced right off me and almost made me laugh at him because it was so transparent. So that was a lesson. And then the other lesson was about loving myself and the package I've come in. I have had real battles with self-esteem over the years. And when I finally learned that, you know, you learn it over and over again until I really finally learned it. I mean, I still have bad days, obviously, when I'm like hemorrhaging, but and I just let those days happen and know that tomorrow will be better. But when I learned that I am proud of how I'm living. I'm proud of mostly everything I do and how I'm living my life. And the people I love me, and they're close to me, and I'm just going to create my own destiny, my own path. I think you were the one who said opportunity meeting preparation, right? And
Preparation, meeting the moment of opportunity.
Yeah, and
that's what luck is.
That's it.
That's why, you know, when somebody said, I saw an interview where somebody said, oh, you were an overnight success, and you were like, overnight?
I said, what?
Overnight.
What
It's
night?
prepare.
Right. And
the
then
opportunity comes along and you are ready.
Right. Or I'm playing catch up.
Yes.
But I will do everything I can to be prepared for the opportunity.
What was the most worthwhile risk you think you ever took?
I think getting involved in the fight against gun violence. That was a scary one. And
because you get a lot of trolls.
You know you do. You know what you do. Nothing can really prepare you for that wrath.
Whoa.
But totally worth it. Wouldn't change anything. I know for a fact I sell less tickets because of it, and wouldn't change it. Couldn't change it. Couldn't.
What was a single moment in this country that made you say, I'm going to speak up?
It was when Macy Brough and Jillian Johnson, two women, were murdered in the audience seeing Trainwreck in Lafayette, Louisiana on July 23rd. That day came out. And I was like, it was the, if not the worst day, one of the worst days of my life. And you just wanted to go there. Just like, what can I do? How, is there any way I can help? And it was like, no, you can't just help. There's no problem to solve. This is something that I realized I was going to be working on. The more I got educated, I realized this is something I'm going to be working on the rest of my life. But what the Parkland students have done, you know, just in the last couple of months, they're fearless. And they're really, they made such a change that I didn't even think I would see in my lifetime.
Yes.
So,
You know what? I was thinking when they, first started to speak up the day after this happened, or the day after this happened, they don't have all the trappings and the they don't have a job to lose.
Yeah.
They don't have a position or a title they're just fearless. They're just fearless.
And they're just calling us out. You said you would protect me. You said we were safe. And I think actually it's something that I continue to learn. You know, you get educated in school and you're supposed to, but they also tell you question authority to a certain extent. But I feel like my generation, like I was raised with an illusion of equality that doesn't exist for women, for people of color. It was kind of like, we're going to tell you about slavery. And this is what the 60 Minutes piece also made me think of. We're going to tell you about slavery, we're going to tell you about the Holocaust and how women couldn't vote. But that's the past. And now we're all equal. And I thought, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. No, not only are all equal, everything's okay.
And everything's okay.
Like the way you were raised.
Right.
Everything's okay.
And
just be okay.
And so I just grew up thinking everybody was equal. And then I only in the last couple of years realized that's not enough. And from seeing Get Out, from Hamilton, from Atlanta, from all these great works of art, really feel like I've woken up to the real condition.
To understand how the past continues to influence the present.
Yes, and if you're not really actively working on a solution toward equality, then you're just part of the problem. It's not enough to just be nice and treat everyone equally. It's not enough.
Is there one thing you're still afraid to do, though? Or do you live fearlessly for the most part?
I was in a really bad surfing accident as a teenager, and I have a pretty big scar on my leg from it. So I am still pretty afraid of surfing. I just want to be careless with my body, but in terms of like a fear, I love facing my fears. It's like boxing. Like, you're afraid of getting hit, but if you actually get in the ring and you spar with someone, you're so afraid that it's like you're experiencing it, right? Like you're putting your body through the experience. So but then you get hit and then you're okay for the most part. You know, you're like, ow, that hurt, but I'm okay. And then that fear leaves your body. So I covet and I'm excited about challenges. So
in the magazine, we're doing this September issue, which you're going to be in.
The cover of?
No. We're doing this idea about taking a chance.
Okay.
There's not a greater chance that you take than getting up on stage.
Sure.
As a young comedian.
I don't know. Running for president seems like a pretty big chance. Oh my gosh, my friend Rory, I just have to tell you, Rory in the movie, he has a joke right now where he said that you were waiting for a sign about that.
Yes.
And he goes, well, isn't it a pretty big sign that you're Oprah? I thought that was a pretty good joke. But okay, sorry.
Okay, so what gave you the courage the first time you got up on stage to take that chance?
I watched.
To keep getting up on stage.
Oh, to keep getting up. Okay, after bombing.
Yes, after bombing. Yes.
Oh, it was this just undeniable drive to get better and having a taste of laughter and of success. And like boxing, it's like something you get better at.
Yeah.
And so realizing it's like learning an instrument. I realized I'm not great at this, but I know if I really work my ass off, I think I can get pretty good. And the encouragement of other people, other professional comedians saying, keep going, and you know, you're not funny yet, but you have potential, and you could be if you work really hard.
Yeah. There were some crazy days on those buses, right?
For stand-up?
Yeah.
Not my buses. I would, no, it was a lot of like, no, because I mean, that's for male comics, I think. Not all of them, that's a generalization, but you know, I never hooked up on the road. I never, I wouldn't like get wasted after the show. I would go home and look over my set and, you know, try and be healthy, go to the next town, work on my jokes. Yeah, I think Bob Hope had a joke about that. I don't remember, but it was like the guys who are like going out chasing the waitresses after are not the ones who get
but I
successful.
think there was a scene you described in the book where like there were all these guys on a bus and I was like, well, where were you?
Last Comic Standing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I was in my bunk crying from bombing so hard. Yeah. They were all like had been doing stand-up. 10, 20 years, and I was like, I don't know, 2 years into doing stand-up, and so I would just go up and in front of like thousands of people.
Is that where you went out
night.
with a 15-minute set? You have 15 minutes, and then but you had to do an hour?
Oh, that was a different show. But this,
Okay.
in this, I did a 15, 20-minute set.
Yeah.
And the audience was just like, nope. You know, and I was like, okay, what about this one? And they were like, not that one either. Like, I wasn't good yet, you know, I wasn't, but I learned on that tour because I got so used to bombing. I wasn't even trying to do well. And once I stopped trying to do well and I just said what I thought was funny and stood there in my own power, and because I trusted the jokes, it was that I didn't, you don't, there's no accounting for going on the road and doing it. So I had to actually do the legwork and just bomb night after night.
What do you feel like now when you walk out there and there they are? There's the audience.
Well,
waiting for you to make them laugh.
I feel like if I'm on tour and they're there to see me and they've spent money on tickets and parking and they got a babysitter and I'm their Saturday night, I feel really grateful. And like, I know I'm going to give them a great show. Like, I'm going to do everything I can to say I'm grateful for your time, and I'm going to do everything in my power to make you have the best night that I possibly can. And then if I'm, you know, just doing a set in New York at the Comedy Cellar, like an unannounced thing, I get such a nice greeting now, but with that comes a lot of pressure. But that's a more laid-back setting, so I'm kind of figuring it out. But I feel like fearless, and it feels good to do work.
Do you feel a vibe, a connection to them?
To the audience? Yeah, but when they've come to see me, I mean, it's a different thing if it's just like a small show, low ceilings. That feels like we're in the trench together, you know, like, and that's a very offensive metaphor if you're a soldier. Like, they're like, yeah, getting on stage and telling a joke, you're in the trench, bitch. But
I get what you're saying.
But if it's
that
a crowd
we end
that's
this
come
together,
to see me,
there's a level of intimacy there.
Yeah, like I found my people, and they came and were like celebrating the night together.
You know, there are people who say that the only regrets you have are the chances you didn't take. Would there be any of those for you? No. Really, no. Would you say you're living at high volume?
I don't know what that means, but it makes me hungry.
Where the volume of your life is turned all the way up.
Yeah, I guess so. But also it's turned down. I mean, especially being an introvert, I'm so excited. The movie premieres tomorrow, and I can't wait for people to see it. But really, what I'm really excited for is going home at the end of the night, and my husband will make us amazing pasta, and I'll get to laugh with my sister.
Chef.
I know. Am I brilliant? I should be in Mensa just for that. But yeah, and then my dog in like sweatpants and, you know, just the real stuff.
The real stuff.
Yeah.
What's the chance you think all women should take?
Believing in themselves.
Yeah.
Just take that chance. Just try it for a day, you know?
When you wake up in the morning now, do you meditate in the morning or meditate in the evening? Or
Both.
You do twice a day?
Yeah.
Oh, you're really good.
I do 20 minutes twice a day.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you wake up in the morning and you have your moments of gratitude, because I know you're one of those people that do that, what is the thing that swells your heart and makes it so full you sometimes want to cry?
Well, I'll cry if I say it now. Just my family, you know, just all the members of my family.
I know, that's what I wanted, the moment that makes your heart swell. Everybody should have them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
knew this would happen. I wasn't even worried.
I said, don't even put a mascara on me. I know it's coming off.
No, what I knew was that we'd one day meet. Because, and everybody always said, oh, you don't know her?
I
You
know.
don't know her?
Yeah.
You don't? You haven't?
I can't believe it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm Oprah Winfrey, and you've been listening to Super Soul Conversations, the podcast. You can follow Super Soul on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. If you haven't yet, go to Apple Podcasts and subscribe, rate, and review this podcast. Join me next week for another Super Soul Conversation. Thank you for listening.